Uh, I kind of do testing. I mean, it is the same after all, so it shouldn't matter that much. But yeah, eh, my voice, I guess. Let me start this thing. Yeah, hello, there it is. That and start. There it is. Okay. In reality, I don't know. I, I never, not that I never haven't truly thought of, about this thing. After all, I don't really try to, as people does, drop links and all of that in many places. So I don't know. I guess it is just waiting, but for what exactly? Next question. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, here we are. That's more than enough. Uh, so what's up with being alive? Wow. No. Uh, what a crazy thing. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I guess here we are, and with that, I am happy already. I didn't even. I didn't truly feel like being here. So that's more than enough. Today, today that's the win. I feel like. So yeah, hello Savannah, welcome. Uh, I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I think that I am dealing with is I feel like I have a hair on my throat or something like that. So I don't know. I guess not that I guess I want to get it out, but I can't. So I don't know. Regardless, yeah, we should have to wait for now. I think I have finally tried to remember a little bit better what might be that we talk about later on. But at the same time, I am quite not. I don't know if worried will be the correct word or something like that. Um, because I feel like certainly there is a degree of um, less properly thought about ideas from where I want to tap into, let's say, and not that I always need to regard only to what I fully know, but rather I see it as if I do talk about these things, I might as well be going on about things that are qu- quite weird by themselves, yeah. But I don't know. Anyways, I need to get closer to the desk. I just noticed. So give this. So, anyways, here we are. Well, I don't know. It's just being here, I guess. It, it is more than same time. Yeah, on a personal note, I believe it's quite annoying that there isn't any real variation behind what I am doing lately, I guess. But besides the topics themselves, obviously, at the very least, at the very least, I am not crazy enough to talk about the exact same things always. And that is something good. But everything else might as well be some kind of, I don't know if problem or things that I should be properly revisioning also, not just talking here. But I didn't really prepare myself for anything. So excuse me, we will continue as if that was the original plan. But yeah, anyways, wow, hello, welcome everybody, welcome to this place. After like 5 minutes, no, what? Yeah, after like 5 minutes of introduction, here we are once again. I hope everything is going fine. As always, it is a pleasure to be. It is nice to do what we are going to do today. Certainly not that much in terms of additions and anything. It will be, as always, just a little bit of um, thinking, I guess, or discussion of ideas and similar. After all, it always is around that realm what we do. So yeah, um, I believe I want to say I have something prepared. I don't, what we are going to go on is completely ready. But anyways, um, that besides, as always, thanks for being, thanks for watching, thanks for working, for watching the vote, and thanks for everything basically. Yeah, and I don't know, something else. I don't think so. Uh, so with that, I guess out of the way, we can properly start. I feel like um, I it has been quite a long time, not as long as the last gap between streams certainly, but it is still quite a long time since the last one, and I am still trying to adjust myself. I something that I just noticed also, and that I should have been looking forward to a little bit more, I guess. I am pretty close to having some vacations finally, so because of that, it should be expected that we get to flow back into normality and all of that. And to have me, yeah, and in general, make anything, be it stream or at a more consistent pace, instead of being just uh, random, whenever I feel like it, going live. But I don't really know. I I do say that's something that I am trying to, or that I will try to do certainly. But as always, if the conditions are appropriate and all of that, we will see how it goes. So far for now, literally, I think it was yesterday even. I just noticed that I myself am also close to having some vacations, so it should finally let us have, at the very least, for a week, some in terms of doing things, and yeah, that is something certainly nice to look forward. But the problem kind of is what, yeah, what to do. But I don't know. I guess we still have our whole lot of activities and similar in to which base ourselves around and stuff. After all, yeah, even if I don't like saying it because it doesn't really feel genuine, we do have a quote unquote variety inside of the realm itself of um, always doing discussions of things and similar. We do have like through 2 or 3 ways in which we do that, let's say. And obviously, the first one is always simply being here. But besides that, we also have things like um, beat, eh, um, continuing with the analysis, I think we only have like one class left, supposedly, from the first lecture course. That is one thing. We also have certainly they might have karata. I have been thinking of that. I I said it before, and I didn't fully expect what ended up happening in general with the amount of um, stuff pertaining the continuity of streams themselves. Let's say so. I didn't I didn't take that into consideration, but at the very least, in some manner or another, I did say that it was going to be a big possibility that it was going to take us uh, years in plural to finish that book. And we are like, I think it is, if I am not wrong, 25% of the book, I'll print probably. So we still have a lot of stuff to keep, and we have still a lot of considerations to try and make and such. So that I mentioned that obviously as another thing. We also have, although I don't really, I don't like it. I guess it is because it is a more free form. We also have the moments in which I trying to aid the people, let's say, and trying to not make it so incredibly hard to follow what I'm talking about. I bring out Krita and I scribble around the stuff that I'm talking about in yeah into something visual so that the the points that are being exposed themselves are a little bit easier to follow. And obviously, on that very same path, but with a lot more order, we have literally um, the production of what I have never really found a proper name. I always just keep it like lists, as in those topics that I do know I can properly go on about and similar. But those those different affluences of ideas is from where we can decide the things and from where we can kind of um, follow an order in terms of trying to fulfill a whole schedule or similar. And yeah, I don't know. I guess it is quite crazy to see once again, at the very least for me, or okay, a more coherent sentence, sorry. It is, if I was my past self from like 5 months ago, probably when I started. I don't really know. Started, sorry. Uh, from when I started, I will be analyzing quite intensely how funny it is to be where we are right now. Not because we don't deserve to be where we are, but rather because it is quite perplexing to see how little I have been capable of sustaining my own words in terms of saying, yeah, we are going to try and um, do this every single day. Think that, I don't know, I held up for like probably being realistic at the best amount or so. There was also some point in the middle of the summer in which I don't know, yeah, I was going to say I have a depression episode or something, but no, I now I remember it was like in January or something like that. So it is expected that I wouldn't have that much time free because I had to spend it with my family and such. So yeah, um, I had that excuse to not consistently do stuff, but it was quite surprising to find out that I really I didn't really manage to do it with enough consistency. But I don't know. At the very least, at the very least, I am happy with the fact that we can continue doing whatever is it that we are doing here and carry on with constant I was going to say fight. It isn't really a fight. It is more like, yeah, even if it sounds weird, certainly excuse my shortcomings in that term. The constant cultivation of the mind and flourishment of multiple ideas that might in any way lead to a better future based on the analysis of what we are discussing as of right now, and all of this cemented into the basic principle, I believe, of because the human is capable of noticing its problems and it is also capable of working on them to the extent to which their capacities enables them to do so. It is that now we stand in front of the huge task, first and foremost, I guess, of solving what is the self, the highest term possible of that, and from there on move on to the path of trying to, by having already, or because we have already solved what is the, yeah, what is it that we are, everything else can also be based simply on the order that it can be given due once again to the capacities innate to every single human being. But yeah, I don't know, I don't know. Anyway, sorry. It is too early to start making up sentences and stuff. I I do find it quite amazing though. Short note. Um, how good it is sometimes, or how easy and how weird also it feels when you start creating those sentences that don't even seem um, comprehensible even for yourself. Because, mm, at least in my case, I do so based on knowledge that I hold about stuff, and it is like a revision on it in a very different way. Like, you're making it up look like something completely new while also, once again, using terms that in your daily life you might as well never have used. And it is surprisingly easy to do so on one hand, but also it is incredibly, yeah, unsettling to notice how new those words sound even to yourself. But yeah, I don't know, I don't know. Anyways, I guess, I guess I will drink some water. Let me do that. We are, we're already like 15 minutes in, so let me drink some water and thank you. Yeah, anyways, so that besides the point, or what? That's that aside, sorry, ESL, that is my excuse. Not that I wasn't really paying attention to what I was saying. Um, that aside, I I want to on something. I have like I said I as always, no? The cultivation of ideas keeps happening even if I can't do it properly every single day. The act of streaming or even sometimes recording. So it is quite surprising that that particular well or fountain of ideas hasn't run dry for, I don't know, if I had to guess, probably half a year or something like that. I I do, on observing that, certainly have one particular consideration, and that is due to its own nature. It happens that it doesn't truly need me to be always in the lead, let's say, as in forcing me or being capable of, yeah, of talking about things and considering anything particular every single time. It doesn't possess that nature, and I am not always forced to do it like that. I I certainly do possess some enjoyment over the fact that I can, to the utmost of my capacities, try and enjoy thinking about stuff that, once again, I do like, but I can also take enough breaks because you, at least from my personal experience, from the way that I do it, once again, I don't know about others. I haven't really had this discussion in particular with anyone else. Um, it might as well be useful. But, sorry, continuing with the point. Um, it happens that it is quite nice also to have those tiny spaces in between to take a breaks and such. I think, yeah, at some point, for example, I remember having said, I, yeah, one of the few practices that I like to have and make um, stuff. I don't truly, yeah, I mean, what a weird thing experience it is like. Okay, let me say it like this. I was going to say I don't like to make tweets, although I am using obviously Twitter. Uh, but at the very same time, while I was going to say it, I noticed how unreal it is to say that after all, I am still part of Twitter. It doesn't make me in any way different. Like how incredibly um, egoistical or egotistical it is to say, no, what I'm creating are not tweets, they are something different. Yeah, they are still tweets. I I just don't I just don't really like that word in general. I might as well go better with the excuse of because Twitter is such a rather a platform and whatever. But yeah, the point itself was, sorry, um, I try to make in to the utmost of my capacity stuff, tweets, uh, and try to make them a daily thing or by daily. That happens 2 times a day, sorry. And it is quite weird to notice, certainly, how almost impossible it feels, at least for me, no? Um, some days in particular, to write anything at all. And I guess also it is after all always the same feeling as as being here and similar cases. You just need to focus and you just need to concentrate on doing the things that you like to do and things that you can always, once again, um, perpetually do, because those are the ones that you will have the best time on, based only on your capacities of already being capable of enjoying something, and even more so now, also enjoying the pleasure of sharing that very same activity with others, based on, I will guess, the desire of letting people be also part of that experience, as in, yeah, probably, it does feel like a nice sentence. I will even go as far as to say, perhaps that one mark is um, necessarily necessarily important to take into account when you are trying to create anything for others, no? But I don't fully know. I just say it as a part of, yeah, as with the big majority of things that I say, really, as a reminder to myself, not anything else, based on the idea of, if I had the possibility of telling me something, that might as well be. one of those many things that I do. But yeah, sorry. Anyways, continuing or going back into this other whole discussion of it is quite hard to follow myself. I talk a fucking lot. Sorry. Yeah. The main idea, I think it was something like, yeah, yeah. And when I try to make, in the case of the example that I was going for tweets, it is certainly impossible sometimes, some days, uh, to make anything. Therefore, what I have certainly discovered that is usually is the act of preemptively making things and preemptively having them ready to go out for whenever I feel like doing it, Not being forced to publish anything or being um, obliged to do it. Simply making them as always, because it is a pleasure and because even more so, um, going back to this whole notion of you should be doing something that feels good by itself, because if not, if you are already punishing your own persona by doing something that you don't like just in order to try and get to places that might as well not be easily achievable, nor that will bring you in the way of getting there any satisfaction, um, it is quite necessary to try and make something that can be enjoyed. If not, the amount of I wouldn't know if it is necessary or not. I believe it is necessary because, once again, personal experience, I have found something that can be described as enjoyable enough. But perhaps someone else might even go as far as to say this is not only a necessity to have, but rather like a primordial point. But anyway, sorry. The main point was once again, uh, in noticing that and continuing with the creation of, in this case, example itself, tweets, um, it just happened that by the nature itself of already having noticed or, yeah, being aware basically of what you like, in my case, the act of saying stuff, I guess, saying minimally interesting stuff, and as always, also stuff that makes me think a little bit. In the act of doing that one thing, it ends up being quite enjoyable also to, yeah, to share again with others, and because those two end up combining with each other. There are points in which you feel, let's say, yeah, I am describing a little bit more than what I can truly handle, I might well accept, but it happens that in the process of describing things and similar, you're already, let's say, getting to places and creating understandable enough things. But due to the own nature of your mind, you will end up getting tired because yeah, once again, it unavoidably happens. Even if you loved whatever thing you chose to do the most, there comes a point in which you need to take a break. Like, repetition itself won't truly suffice your needs, as it is already something that, due to the nature of your psyche, let's go with that description, um, to not allow your brain to disengage on that activity will lead to burnout, even if you love that to the highest degree possible, even if you love that uh, as much as that description itself, you will still need to have breaks and similar. So in the parts of, let's say, in the peak of the euphoria born out of doing something that feels good, it is that, or it is theirs, sorry, when in my case I try to take advantage of, yeah, all of that relentless energy and make even even more. In this case, once again, the original point is tweets about anything all, and and from there on, I also end up not only making more, so that I don't have to worry about what might come tomorrow, let's say, but also I end up making more enough so that it goes back to this point of I can take some breaks in the process and I can cover my own self in not in despite due to the fact that I have already properly created this safe net of ideas that allows me to not be so worried and not be so unnecessarily lost in the realm of ideas that I have. So it feels good. Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I will say not everybody has that capacity, and not obviously not everybody is capable of noticing how easy on yourself you can make it if you try to. But in this one particular example, I have noticed that I would say really recently I don't truly take that much credit for my own safety and enjoyment. I don't know. I it just happened to happen. Let's say that I did give myself time to keep creating in that sense, just because I didn't want to be every single day doing things, or also because, as I said before, in some other days there is certainly an incredibly higher amount of see ready to be used in the creation of anything at all. Therefore, channeling that into something that can also alleviate my future self's existence ended up being useful, but that was in no way a conscious idea that I had about anything. It just happened to happen like that, I feel like. But yeah, anyways, I guess that's the whole first narration things, I reckon. Uh, but yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, I don't know, as I said before. I think I have a hair on my throat. I don't know if the problem is that or or if the problem is really that I also have just woken up. Therefore, I am still with the morning voice. Sadly, I because of that I need sometimes to cough, and it feels weird. But anyways, that's everything for the previous point. I I can continue into something else. Let me do that better. Uh, well, if it isn't obvious, before continuing, let me some water. I am noticing in the same line of I am noticing that I am starting to get a little uh, tired. But in terms of I need water, so give me a second. I think it is something like a whole glass of water or something like that. So I hope I don't sound uh, lack of water intake, I guess. But well, in reality, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. As yeah, as somebody like me from the places that I am, uh, I can say that it is certainly higher than average, probably. The water intake that we have, it shouldn't be a problem. If it is a problem, it might as well be my problem because I am not sharing that much with others, I guess. I am robbing myself out of the chance of enjoying daily mate and similar stuff. Um, the so-called yerba mate, wow. But yeah, anyways, continuing. Excuse me for not being fully fully conscious of what I am talking about. Continuing. So, I was, yeah, I was trying to think about something. I I have been having quite a yeah. I feel like it is like necessary to say it properly. Like a hard time lately, properly doing anything at all in terms of yeah desires and such. We we have had a lot of discussions with multiple people, certainly with but a lot of some closer friends, some others. Like I wouldn't truly know if it is like appropriate to call them. Yeah, not so close. Let's say it like that. Not so close friends and similar. And in the process, it was once again shown to me this whole idea of um, you should be doing what I discussed briefly before. You should be doing something that feels good, and should be doing something that by itself you can ensure that you can keep doing no matter what happens, and similar. And all of that is by itself, to some degree or another, true. But um, what I feel ends up getting lost in this whole discussion is maybe, perhaps, even more if one tries to have a good time, let's say, um, it is necessary not only to do that, but also to be fully sure that what you're doing feels. And I have been, yeah, I have been fighting a little bit, let's say, this whole, yeah, it is a long process. It is on one hand the analysis or the checkup, let's say it in other words, um, sorry, um, the constant checkup of what is it that I personally want to do and similar. It always is annoying. I feel like at this point to notice that the mind gets so easily swayed by the description that I like to use is shiny objects, shiny ideas, but the reality is it isn't that hard for the mind to fall into an almost um, slumber-like state in which you are driven around by whichever thing it is that you happen to come across. At least once again in nowadays world. So in my case, I had been trying to fight back all of those inputs that generate reactions and trying to the highest of my capacities to not be so troubled by any of those things. And even if I don't get to every single day be fully conscious and be not conscious, be fully aware of my actions. Once again, going back to this actions in terms of I am following what I want and I am doing those things which I can say properly that I enjoy and similar things. Um, it is in that process that I keep realizing, let's say, or consistently throughout time, having to remind myself, not every single thing that you The first encounter might believe feels good, truly does feel good. And I, it isn't that I don't like it, just like that. It is more like it ends up being unnecessarily bad. It to keep crashing against these external desires that we intake. And in my own personal experience, let me say it like this, I haven't found so far a completely uh, a surefire method to never doubt what you are doing, being the good and only thing that you truly want to do. And the problem is the different ways in which, at least mentally, I get to those places is always I feel like moving. It is, I don't know if the exact definition will be in the mind you have, if you had to put it into an image, in the mind you have a whole field of, is it, sorry, it is as if you were living in a house full of doors, and every single door has its own lock if you want to go through that door. And sometimes you need to pick the locks to find it possible to see what is on the other side and to get to experience those realities. But the problem ends up being that while you are in a hallway of almost infinite doors, in this case all pertaining to your own motivation and self assurance of the desires that you possess, it also happens that when you get to the other side, every single one of them leads to the same conclusion. They are almost as if you were opening doors from one infinite hallway into a completely infinite room to which you sometimes, or from which you sometimes get kicked out without you even noticing. It is like when you blink, you don't realize that you have already been moved back into the hallway, and because they somehow look so similar, you don't realize, or maybe if I had to choose different words, maybe it is that we are already so blinded by your own instincts and similar things that we don't realize once again we have been moved back to these places of lower comfort and a lesser enjoyment of the stuff that is happening in the life itself that we have. And from there on, it does feel quite quite surprising to realize that you needed to keep going through doors. And one of the natures of this is when you open a door, that door now shuts itself off from being used again, at the very least, until you open one or two new ones, and not always you will be capable of using that very same door that you used before to get back into this place of complete enjoyment. Once again, relating to this idea of um, idea ideas that you fully like and similar. So the motivation that you need to have and the ways in which you fully make yourself sure that what you're doing is worth keeps changing shapes. There isn't one passage that you can always take and through which you can always ensure that the response you're going to have is wow, I was so utterly unconscious, I feel like, of things that I didn't realize. I do like these things. I shouldn't be having problems with. liking these things. I am just having problems right now because once again, I have lost my focus. That's every problem that happened, nothing else. But in reality, or yeah, in reality, it happens almost the opposite, out of nowhere. You haven't even realized that you were moved into into a new plane, and you don't even have the faculties of fully always realizing that you are standing once again back in this hall of nothingness that is no real fulfillment of desires or or achievable of anything. So you need to get back to this whole room, forcing your way through um, almost a mist that always surrounds yourself until you can once again motivate your own persona, open that door, and get back to enjoyment, I guess. And it doesn't happen even that you realize also that sometimes, because of the nature itself of the house, the doors that you're opening can be so completely different in nature that you might as well be not in the wall that you were searching to get back to this enjoyment born out of doing the thing that you like the most and that you are the best at almost, um, but rather that you somehow picked a naturally different door and ended up fulfilling your enjoyments or your necessity of having enjoyment in life by doing things that are completely out of the ordinary. I feel like, and it isn't always bad as if it was, yeah, the worst problem ever to have, but it does feel annoying to realize that certainly have control over these things, and in some way, it's not in some way, in some part of the journey that is life, you end up giving up this control without even a real explanation as to why, without even a real, yeah, a real census as to how to get it back. Even you lose that capacity of always remaining in the one and only thing that you can feel is good and you can enjoy completely and such. But yeah, I don't know. I At the very least, let's say like this, we are alive, and with that, I am so far happy. In the future, it might happen that something new will try to replace what is the present enjoyment and similar, but so far away, we are good. Yeah. Uh, just in case, heads up, I need to say it before I forget. I am getting incredibly sleepy. I don't know why. I don't know why. In reality, I had like 5 hours of sleep. So yeah, uh, that is a me problem. But I say it not because wow, I'm sleepy. Nothing else. Due to the nature itself of us having to hear me talk, I say it as a preemptive warning of maybe if the sentences that I make stop having any particular sense at all behind them, uh, no to pardon myself, as it just happened that I am drifting away into the dream state, and I am just continuing with a more unconscious side of my mind, saying things instead of really realizing that constant act of checking which words are going to come out of my mouth and which order these this next sentence will be stringed in based on the previous ones, and also having the best of my interest in mind in terms of making it also as easy as possible for me to connect the last and the present sentences with the upcoming next one. But yeah, anyways, just a tiny one, something that is bound to happen due to my tiredness, not nothing else really. So, anyways, uh, continuing, yeah, we finished basically with the example of Taurus and similar, nothing out of the ordinary really. I just wanted to talk about that one because I had been thinking about it and I had been trying to fully get how it works. It is like an unavoidable reality, at the least so far for us humans, that you need to always remind yourself of why you are doing things. And it isn't like you have really forgotten, it is more like your mind can only hold so many things instead of its consciousness. And because of that, you end up needing to choose which things you really want to keep in your mind. And it how necessary it is for you to do so. You end up unavoidably making mistakes in terms of choosing which path is it that you want to traverse. And getting now to be, I feel like, quite, quite damaged by the process of having an interest in choosing something that should feel good, but that didn't really feel good. So, I don't know. Eh, I guess, at the very least, at the very, very, very least, the good thing is once you find that thing that you enjoy the most, you should be capable of always remembering which thing it was and sticking to that upcoming part of ideas of I should try my best to ensure that I can keep doing this, or I should try my best to, at the very least, make sure that what is going to happen is only bound to happen. And I don't know. It's weird. Takes time, but not always. We do have those capacities at our hands. I feel like, but yeah, I am. I didn't expect to be so improperly rested. Let's say like that. I thought I was. This is no. I don't want to sleep so early. Second, I had okay. Let me try with this one. I I am trying to pull back my attention into something that I also wanted to talk about. I I thought a little bit about it. It is quite hard, even more because as I said before, it feels funny when when the sentences are new, also for you to explore. And in that very same realm, I was thinking about some things that I wanted to try and articulate in order to see if I do have that capacity or if they are still completely new to my mind. Also, obviously, because I believe there is some utility, utility behind them. And even if this whole picture is not even close to being complete, it is clear enough for those who have a minimal awareness of how the process of deciphering a picture works. Or, yeah, eh, interpreting the arts that they have in front of them, let's say, not just those who identify how a picture was made and all of that lengthy process, but rather everyone who has any type of inclination. Example is for arts. Reality of the discourse is for life, I guess. So yeah. Anyways, let me try to start. I've been lately trying to think and trying to be more connected with this realm of ideas and realm of notions based already on the preconception, not only what we discuss here, but rather also including a million different sides of the whole spectrum of ideas that can be described as motivation. And in that very same realm, it does happen that the dancing fields of the mind that try to occupy those spaces which don't really need to be filled with anything, or which you would even want to have fully empty to keep operating to your best, they all get somehow even more um, mixed and more, yeah, less integrated. Sorry, not less integrated with everyone. And when I do realize that these things do happen, I I have to connect back to this whole spirit of the human race. No, it is human species, and doing so, I am once again reminded of how utterly surprising the skills of any particular human are, even more how amazing it might feel to get blessed by those who are already in these places of enchantment. Therefore, trying to seek out not only to keep going, but also to ensure that the next time it happens, it isn't as negative as this one. Will I don't know if it will be, or rather if it should be seen as an obligational thing. And well, yeah, it should be um, seen as something like that. And one of the few problems that we as humans possess somehow, I, I understand the point that at the very same time, sadly, it can be misin- yeah, misinterpreted or used in negative ways. But if life were to be amazing, it should. What should also happen is you should ensure that, yeah, people and similar get to be part of the net self of ideas that you want, or at the very first initial stage of this whole journey, be sure that are connected to your original wish and similar. In my case, I do not have the reason to say if where we are going with most of the things that we talk about here are of that nature or not. I can only assume that we do engage in this type of conversations and similar um, most of the time, but truly getting to see with your own eyes your own self outside of your very own perceptions becomes harder and harder to in love you are with your passions. And sadly, destroying also all of this world of ideas in order to just show to yourself what the reality itself should be considered as will only be a whole negative thing from the perspective of those who have barely tried to, yeah, in any way, part of this experience too, or part of their own experience too. In in the same way that you are doing right now, and it never is an easy thing to try and still somehow fail achieving success in such an endeavor. At the very least, noticing or what I have been experiencing from my personal point of view is there is sorry uh, sorry there is a highly big chance of not even knowing why you're not getting to those places to which you want to be, and it it feels bad, let's say, because the extent of ideas, or not ideas, the extent of consciousness that you possess over yourself can only be increased if you are aware of the limitations that um, you already have on you. If you can't become aware of the problems that are bound to your own existence through your own consciousness, the worst of the things is also that if others try it in a very disruptive manner, you might as well not even take what they are trying to convey to you as any kind of positive thing. They will only make it on their own mind seem like going on what you're going over and what you are trying to discuss is nothing else more than an attack to their own self. And if now going back to this place of being this person, if you do have this problem, there isn't really a completely clear way besides the desire to risk discovering that maybe you were even wronger than what you were capable of anticipating at first, and churning through the, I feel like fire and flames of awareness and reality itself to get shaped into a more appropriate form. Not because there is one that everybody should fall into, as in, wow, you're showing, I don't know, something non harmful. You're enjoying having a cat? What? You are crazy. You should not enjoy having a cat. You should enjoy doing, I don't know, community work. But they are completely unrelated. Why would anybody have to overwork themselves in ideas that are so completely unrelated, that have zero, yes, zero connections whatsoever besides being in the same language, I guess. Uh, so to notice also that it is a possibility for you to get out of nowhere, moved to desires and such, just because somebody said something yeah, minimally bad about anything is quite hard. But I don't know. I I guess I love this discussion should lead to the conclusion itself. If it isn't clear of it is possible to surmount this problem, and it's possible also to not be so immersed in these problems as something that can only damage you. And, and that is also quite the best part. That, at least in my case, I feel like it is surprising to realize that you can go for so long and enjoy for so much time quite a plethora of things just based on the idea or notion of maybe what we have in front of ourselves is going to be liquid enjoyment extracted from the nectar of the good experiences that you have. And not always you will have that possibility because first and foremost, you need to once again what has been discussed so far. Need to remember which things you really like, and to do so you need to be fully aware of them. To be fully aware of them, you need to constantly battle against any other temptation that might appear, and this whole plethora of considerations to have. But at the very least, at the very least, right now, being and doing something is not so impossible. So you have a higher chance of finding pleasure in things than what somebody from, I don't know, 300 years ago had. The world is a lot more, sorry, the world is a lot more vast in that sense. So you don't have to struggle so consistently just because you wanted to try and enjoy one particular thing. Like, as I said before, it did happen a lot of time ago. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I guess at the very least, the main point is always, or trying to try back into the main point. Sorry, uh, you don't really realize that you can be this place and that you can stay there, and in the desire to do so, it also does happen that by trying to show to others that you are doing well and that you are now satisfying your own necessities, this I wouldn't fully know. It is personal. Perhaps, I wish to say it like that. Perhaps, if you do present your experience as something utterly innocent and nothing else, perhaps it won't happen that others will feel this almost unavoidable feeling of why the fuck is this human being talking to me as if I hated life? They literally don't even know what they are talking about. They are losing yeah, they are making me lose time of my existence thinking about them. And even worse, if the things that you're talking about are nonsensical enough for others, they will get so utterly disappointed that, sorry, um, this disappointment is going to be carried with them for a longer time than what you can ever expect. But I just say it as something like a consequence of actions quite foreseeable. And not only that, obviously also includes this whole realm, or yeah, realm of perhaps a cavity in your mind in terms of perhaps you're so sure about what you like that nothing is going to move you from doing that. But most of the world is not so sure. Most of the people is not even half committed, let's say, to what they are doing. Even if everything or everyone else is completely there. And I don't know, it never stops being a weird bunch of sensations to have and to think about in that sense. Might as well be just closer to. I, I wanted to say extinction, but perhaps let me go with that. I am sleepy. I already gave my warning, so excuse me if that doesn't make sense. The extinction of what you thought to be before has now become true in terms of only because you have already done some horrible in some place. Probably 10 minutes from now, from X place, doesn't say to nail. So simply break out of these spaces that are in some way or another existing around, yeah, your initial way of discovering desire and choosing the one that suits you the best. And I don't know. I, this is something that I wanted to discuss, and I guess we can finally go into that. I am. Give me a second. I don't want to sound so angry. I am utterly disappointed that in this whole discussion, it should be noted that we are almost discussing reality as if it was a dream, and something that does happen very, very consistently is the disgust born out of realizing that people can't truly commit to those things that truly help them. And not only do we live in a world in which that is normal, but the worst of the things is if you use one of those watches, and in this case, we're talking about watch, we're talking about observing time, we're talking about possessing consciousness over these matters in any particular way that you do it, that is the reality. Um, these watches are shamed for having because when the rest is not capable of creating them for themselves, they decide to go. I think it is quite obvious. Ram- Rampant earth? No, scorched earth on the rest. Because if they can't have their game, nobody else can. The so called, very well known baby feet, basically. And I just believe it feels quite. I don't know if bad is the word or quite. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I am. I am sorry, but I am falling asleep. It is happening. It is real. I guess I can't keep up with my own tiredness anymore. I should be organizing myself more in terms of trying to do the things based on what we have been discussing, doing the things that you really enjoy because you know that you enjoy them. Therefore, ordering your life around those things because you enjoy them. Good enough an amount of time or an amount of experience that you will try to ensure that it keeps happening. Well, I don't keep trying my best to ensure that it keeps happening. I mean, that is one of the few things that I do hate about. I don't know if it is myself, if it is any of the things that do transit my own existence, but the horribleness of object impermanence and the pain that is to not remember so much of anything once that leaves my visual field is very same thing here. I can't truly remember to sleep well. Perhaps I can, in reality, like quite an instant notion arose in my mind. Perhaps I can do it if I make some type of visual identifier that I should be trying to either take enough rest or wake up enough early to be for the rituals or to even if it is not a ritual to be for the ritual itself that is life, let's say like that. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, regardless, yeah, I have stopped understanding what I have been talking about for the last, I don't know, 5 minutes. It feels like 2 hours even. I am I am reminded of that one explanation of this guy who due to Their sleepiness felt like out of nowhere. Hours passed, and he asked, which time is it? Just to get shown that in reality, 1 or 2 minutes have only transcurred. And not only that, but also what feels weirder is that there is literally nothing creating that on myself this case. So I don't know. Perhaps I'm just let's say like this. Do not use a higher, quite inappropriate word. A problematic child, let's say, or somebody who possesses still a lot of qualities of a problematic child, let's say. So yeah. Anyways, I guess I have been extending the goodbye because I don't really want to. I don't really want to end it. If I had to be honest, one of the few things that I will say before fully disconnecting my consciousness, I I wanted to go for like 3 hours or something like that today. I did enjoy doing it. The other day, I didn't even expect to go for so long. And what the fuck? Oh my god. That was quite a nice surprise to see that I was capable of doing it. But it can't always happen. So now we must deal with the consequences of my own unpreparedness or something like that. So yeah. Anyways, I guess I can't figure out anything really add to this whole discourse. Let me see. Yeah, perhaps maybe we could try raid someone perhaps, but I don't get it. I don't know. I am just yeah. I am just drifting away already. I am more asleep than awake right now. So excuse me for extending my exit for so long. Basically that I am going to take my leave and pass away in my grass bed, no? In my Kusa grass bed. So yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Give me like 1 second. And after that, what? Okay, before it gets later, let me do this. Let me do this. Okay. Yeah. I found it. Yeah, we're going to leave before. No, Arkea. Good morning, Arkea. I am pretty sure that you sleep as you. Uh, no. Yeah. Okay. We'll give you your okay. Your 5 minutes of guitar. Do you have anything to ask, Arkea? Yeah. I am. It is. There we go. Music. Wow. I, I don't know. I am moving quite by primal instincts at this point. Certainly. Uh, yeah. I knew that you haven't slept. I knew it. But anyways, welcome. I hope you're well. Besides the amount of sleep that you're lacking, I was literally talking about that. I am incredibly tired, and I am pretty close to going to bed. How do I know? Because it is something that you talk about like almost Well, I don't know if you really talk about it. I guess we, I know about it because we or you tend to mention that, that you sleep at like it 11 a.m. or something like that, and you take like one micro nap. Like what? The most uh, odd behavior in terms of sleep. Like those who have, yeah, insomnia basically. You know, yeah, yeah. That's how, because you tend to mention that. I don't know if everywhere, but you do so. And perhaps I might have breached containment and have leaked information that nobody else knew. This is so over. This is so completely over. I have broken my word, Arkia. Now everybody knows your secret. I am sorry. I am utterly sorry. I didn't mean to do this to your of a healthy little guy. I don't know. Anyways, the point was, yeah, I am, I am sleepy, so I am very close to exiting this reality. I guess I don't know. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that you also take those, man. It is an incredibly odd behavior. What what a crazy thing. I don't know. At the very least, we are alive. That is, with that, we have more than enough to keep going. I feel like I I don't know what to say. I am trying to say anything bad, so excuse me if I'm not my own words. But yeah, something like because you have the capacity fixing the problems that appear, um, even if right now you are not. So just to know that it can happen in the future is more than enough of a motivation to keep. Because in this case, even if one can't properly sleep, like you and me, certainly, um, yeah, now obviously to different degrees, but still the reality of both. To be aware of such a problem, be interested in fixing that, even if it isn't happening now, is more than enough of a good. Because deciding to do something, even if in the very present in which we are living, is good, and gathering this intent to do it in the future is also reward. Not not the most, yeah, not the most willing thing to do for anybody, but something that can be done. I feel like so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I am once again. Excuse me. I am sleepy. I am drifting away. I am, as they will also call it, falling apart. I I haven't mentioned that, and it is quite nice. I do have. Uh, I am also certainly in test season and exam season and such. So the lack of sleep is justified, but I I guess one must keep going at the very least. But yeah, wait, no, Argia, you're here. When streamer? That is what is to know. Like when is the next Argia stream? That's the main point of this. When when is it going to happen? Anyways, I don't know. So sorry for being so insistent. But yeah, basically that. I don't know. I am completely thoughtless. No more ideas. No more nothing. No more. What the fuck? Riperino. What is that? What? What a nice. What a, yeah, what a nice emote ace has. What? Ah, Riperino. Nice. Understandable. But well, Morgan, please. You should stream. You should become a Vtuber. You should try it, man. You should try to stream like once and see. Maybe you like it, and maybe you can make it. But you try it, man. What if you try it and you like it, man? You need to be a viewer. Sorry. Eh, no, 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 no. I told you, you shouldn't be a viewer. You should, uh, you should just make it to a viewer in this instead of just a viewer. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, or I love you, but I must leave. I am also sleepy, and I haven't pushing through. So, we are going to raise someone. I can't keep going. Arke, no, wait, Arke. I have a recommendation for you. Give me a second. I need to. What's the? Uh, if you want to stream, you should try to stream and you should try to go live. Uh, you should go and play this one game. Yeah. This one. Yeah, exactly. you should try to play that, man. Maybe you like it. Anyways, yeah. Ah, sorry again. Anyways, yeah. I, I have fulfilled all my tasks here, so let let me confine space. Let me. Yeah, don't worry. I have been really sleeping kinda well, but I mean, I need still more hours. I slept like 5, so I still need like 2 more. I won't have enough time for that, but anyways, yeah. As always, thanks for being here, thanks for watching, thanks for lurking, thanks for watching the video, thanks for everything. It is always a blessing to be here, even if in my case I don't have the complete energy to do anything at all. Sorry for that. We will get them next time, as they say. As always, thanks for all. Um, Remember to stay safe, remember to stay nice, remember to stay hydrated, remember to sleep well, remember to be happy first and foremost of the things to do. And yeah, whenever we can, we're getting back here. And if not, at the very least, we tried to do our best with what we did right now. As always, thanks for all. Have a good one and night, people. Until the next occasion, whenever that arrives. Goodbye. And yeah, this is the hidden message that you were looking for. Wow.